Hi, David. Yeah, I got his belly full. Both those boys got them fed. I did. Happy new season to you, my brother. I had a fantastic solstice last night with some fantastic people. I was very, very happy to where I ended up. Totally unplanned. How are you? Theo wanted the full shebang. He's like, no, it's been, my tummy's empty. Fill it up. So this is going to be right in on the wall. This is going to be just me chatting on really about something that came to me while I was preparing a lesson for the boys, just as to how the eye works. We've been looking at different ways that people perceive things and then trying to correlate it to the physical aspects of us. So, yeehaw, says Thomas. So you're in limbo right now. I see, David. We'll have to have a chat. So yes, this just came to me as I was preparing that lesson for them. And so I just want to talk about the perception and the eye and the illusion of the eye. Beloved's going to be great on this one. And so, and how we create this reality through lenses constantly, quite literal lenses like cameras where we capture moments. How we can re-enter those moments by looking at a photograph, and we can be right back in the room in the moment that photograph was taken. And so showing us how we can delve into those realms. Now I take people into different realms of self, and therefore different realms in general, through breathing exercises, through energy flow work. And it really works. You see sights, you go sightseeing within those realms, you're there, you feel it, you hear it, you sense it. And so this just came to me as I was saying, preparing a lesson for the boys for the schooling regarding the physical eye. And Odin's story came to mind, and the story of Odin that is held within the tarot also. Hey, Paul. And so I correlated that with that. So the lesson ended up padding out more and more and more. And so the boys are still to have this delivered, really. So I'm testing it out on you guys first. So if we want to look at the perceptions of the eye, let's do some reading first. I wish I was there with you on 500 acres of land, David. Wow, I'm manifesting that land. Okay, so I'm going to read a little story. This isn't the best or in entirety, it's just so that I can stay on point, because I can go off rambling. So let's share the screen. Okay, so Odin's one eye. Odin's quest for wisdom is never ending, and he is willing to pay any price, it seems, for the understanding of life's mysteries that he craves more than anything. You can see that with the sword there on that depiction of him, and his ravens on either side of his shoulders. On one occasion, he hanged himself, wounded himself with his spear, which would be the hanged man, and fasted from food and drink for 9 days and 8 nights, in order to discover the runes. So he got knowledge from these different ways, these different rituals that he actually paid a price for in the physical reality to be able to gain entry into different realms for these different discoveries of knowledge. On another occasion, he ventured into Mimir's well, which it's surely none of the other wells of Erd. Amongst the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil, there dwelt Mimir, I can never pronounce that, a shadowy being whose knowledge of all things was practically unparalleled among the inhabitants of the cosmos. So his name represents memory. He achieved this status largely by taking his water from the well, whose waters impart this cosmic knowledge. So water holding memory, and holding it very well, the layers of existence. When Odin arrived, he asked Mimir for a drink from the well. The well's guardian, knowing the value of such a draught, refused unless the seeker offered an eye in return. Odin, whether straight away or after anguished deliberation, we can only wonder, gouged out one of his eyes and dropped it into the well. Now, you know, in movies and things, there's often, you know, during torture scenes, they'll have a spoon there, and salt, and that depicts the story of Odin also, that, you know, they're going to take something from you, they're going to take this eye. And so it goes on to say, Mimir dipped his horn into the well and offered the now one-eyed god a drink. So the most general and obvious message of this tale is that for those who share Odin's values, no sacrifice is too great for wisdom. The unfortunately fragmentary sources of our current knowledge of the pre-Christian mythology and religion of the Norse and other Germanic peoples are, however, silent on exactly what kind of wisdom Odin obtained in exchange for his eye, but we can hazard a guess. The fact that Odin specifically sacrificed an eye is surely significant in all ages. The eye has been seen as a poetic symbol for perception in general. Consider the astonishing number of expressions, both in everyday usage and the works of great colonial poets, that use visions, as a metaphor for perceiving and understanding something. Given that Odin's eye was sacrificed in order to obtain and enhance perception, it seems highly likely that this pledge of an eye symbolizes trading one's mode of perception for another. What mode of perception was exchanged for what other mode then? The answer to this question lies in the character of Mimir. Mimir, whose name means the rememberer, seems to have been the being who told the gods how to live in accordance with ancestral tradition and with wisdom more generally. In the tale of Odin's discovery of the runes, Odin sacrificed what we might call his lower self to his higher self. Here, his relinquishment of the eye should surely be understood along similar lines. He exchanged a profane, everyday mode of perception, beleaguered with countless petty troubles, for a sacred mode of perception, informed by divine ancestral wisdom. So, if we look at then, let's see, where is it? If we look at this, no, I want to show you this. So if we look at this, the eye, you can see here the way that it works. It's not just, you know, straight in and perceiving. There are all these rods. I find that interesting. Wands, ganglion cells. There is the obviously the retina that comes around the back here. There is a blind spot in the eye, the fovea, the lens, the vitreous humor, blood vessels, optic nerve fiber layer, bipolar cells, cones, which I find very interesting. There's a lot to be said from Sumerian times when they put the wedges in by wedging, by changing language and separating, and the wedges of starting to write things down, and only the few knowing how to depict those certain wedges that they would put in. For say trade of goods and whatnot, which started, I feel, this real gap between the upper and lower class. Those wedges of knowledge, either put in or taken out, excuse me. And so take this in and keep this in mind. Now, the other image I wanted to show you was of Yggdrasil, the tree, the Norse mythology of that helps you enter into the other realms. This being here the rainbow of transference. And so This being that all of these different realms are held within these different paths here. And so this speaks to me as to much more as to how the makeup of this place is. Now, if you turn this on its side, I don't know, can we do that here? You can. Is that not the nigh on exact shape of the eye? It is. You can see that in this traditional depiction of Yggdrasil, you can see that this is an eye. If you look back again to the eye picture, let's see, there's one here, one here. It is but in the same. It's the same shape. So if we then go to this, and it's just something I got up for the kids, so, you know, forgive me if it seems childish, but it's often the best way to learn. It says, how do we see? To take a look around you, you might use a computer or a phone with a shining, colourful screen. A piece of paper may be under your left hand and a sharpened pencil in your right hand. While you look at these objects with your eyes, your brain is what is recognising the objects. Many people take sight for granted, but how are you able to see and register objects? So you probably already know that your body has 5 senses that help you experience the world around you. These senses are touch, taste, hearing, smell, and sight. Although all of your senses are important, many people think that sight would be the most difficult one to live without. If you could not see, how could you watch TV? Blah, 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 blah. You don't need that. How do cameras work? You and your friends have only been hiking for about an hour, but already you've probably taken 100 photos. Up ahead is another perfect opportunity. A brightly coloured flower seems to be glowing in the sunlight. You hold your camera up to take the picture. For your camera to work, it must come in through the lens. Light must come in through the lens and reach the back of the camera. When you point the camera at a flower, the sunlight that bounces off the flowers enter into the lens. The lens directs the light so that it shines onto the back of the camera. Light cannot bend and must travel in a straight line because the area in the lens where the light goes is very small compared to the size of the object. The light that contains the image will create an upside down and flipped picture. The images that are captured in your retina are also upside down, but your brain converts them to the information you perceive the world correctly. So you can see here how that would work. It flips it upside down. And when you think of, the flip that they've done on the collective stage, when you think of, the upper and the lower, you think of how things are so different in different aspects of self, different realms. The rules are different, things are perceived differently. Perception is everything. The images that are captured on your retina are also upside down, but your brain converts them. I've said that. So the light enters the camera and the image is flipped. Digital cameras have an area with little sensors that are so sensitive to light. Sensors will collect the bits of light that come through the camera and organize them to create a picture of the flower. The picture is actually made from a lot of small squares called pixels. However, because they are so small, you don't see the individual pixels. When the pixel squares are put together, they will create a picture on a photograph that you can see. Your eyes work much like a camera. Light bounces off the image in front of you and comes into your eyes through the cornea. The cornea is a clear, thin layer on the outside of your eyes, a veil. The cornea will help direct the light towards your pupil and iris. These two parts work together to control the amount of light entering your eye. They really are a portal, and they control the amount. I mean, that's so clever. The iris is the colored part of your eye, and the pupil is the little dark circle in the center of your eye. You may have noticed that sometimes your pupils are bigger and sometimes they're smaller. This is because the iris can shrink and grow, allowing different amounts of light to pass through your pupils. This is like controlling the aperture of a camera. Once the light comes through the pupil, it will go through the eye's lens, just like in a camera. The lens is used to focus on an object and direct the light to the back of the eye. The back of the eye is called the retina and has special sensors called cones and rods. Visual information excites the cone and rod sensors, and they are involved in seeing colour. So colour invigorates them. Once the cones and rods have been exposed to light, they translate the visual information into electric information. The optic nerve will send this information to your brain. The tiny nerve cells are able to take the electric form, so you're transmuting all the time. You're being alchemists all the time, transmuting light into electrical impulses of information. Take the form of the image in front of you and send it to the brain's visual cortex or vision center. You're going on a vision quest every time you've got your eyes open and you perceive something. The vision center is located on the back part of your brain, the occipital cortex or lobe. It is responsible for decoding the electrical information coming from the retina. The vision center interprets the electric form of the image, allowing you to form a visual map. As you can see, the vision is a complex process. The brain has to do a lot of work to make a picture. But what happens if what you see is blurry? Let's see if that's worth reading. That's the different one. So going back to stop share. So going back to you guys. So if you look at that and you start to recognize just the smallest aspects of the things that we take for granted. William has color blindness, and we were doing some tests to see so that he could show me through some university studies of the colors that he can perceive. And it's very different and far less vibrant. And so I'm looking at glasses, at lenses that can give him a perception of the colors that I maybe see or closer to them. And so it's so interesting, this small aspect that is reflected within us. And this is how I love how this cosmos is, this universe is, and that everything is reflected in on everything. And you can dissect the most esoteric wisdom and knowledge from the smallest thing that you take for granted each day, one of the senses that will correlate with the elements within you. And so this is where we do enter into a vision quest every minute of every day that we have our eyes open. And then we enter into those different realms when we sleep and our eyes rest. It's the consciousness, and this is where the light, the heart chakra, the root chakra, all of those chakras being energized and worked through and used, I think allows you entry, allows you the keys to go through different perceptive doorways on your vision quests, because that will correlate with the rainbow that is depicted in Yggdrasil, the energy transference rainbow. You can't get on that certain rainbow if you're not on, you can't get through a certain door into a certain realm if you haven't got certain light codes activated, if you haven't got certain electrical impulses activated. And so you are the cosmos. Your eye is the cosmos. As tiny as it is, like Odin's eye, it is a great piece of machinery that reflects what you can do from the inside, even with your eyes closed. That yes, our eyes do this and we defer to them in this physical realm, but actually they represent something far deeper, in that when we can correlate our code, our light code, depending on how little or how much we have worked on ourselves to do the inner work, to energize and focus these energy centers that we have within, to then correlate with the code that is written within the energy transference rainbow. This is how you would unlock those doors to those different realms, to be able to explore, to be able to use them in this physical reality. This is so important because you are existing in other mediums anyway, on different dimensions, on different levels of self, different aspects of you are existing anyway. You far better be able to walk this rainbow, this energy transference rainbow, and seek to attain the abilities as Odin did, to be able to know the knowledge, the codes that you can unlock to go further, to have more dominion over self in every dimension, in every realm, in every aspect of self, because you've already, and you continuously do, unlock those keys that will then put you on the rainbow in the right way, on the right frequency. This is how you can take true sovereignty and divinity over your being, over all of the fractals of your being. Surely getting to see through the lenses of the other fractals of you what they are perceiving, giving you even more knowledge and wisdom as to how things are done in other realms and how you can utilize that wisdom here. So there's a lot of power in the I. Now, giving over of the I, he gave over everything that he had perceived within that I. It was an album, a photo album. It added to the conscious, unconscious pool that we can all seek to attain knowledge from. So we're all, in one way or another, continuously adding to this pool, this water that holds memory, that can hold, that capture, that the captured moments in time, that other people can then go and delve into and dip into. But like any alchemy or magic, if you want to call it that, there is always something given in order to be taken. There always has to be that balance, that approach. This pool of knowledge and wisdom that has been building and building and building, there is a level of reverence for it that we should have within. And there is a level of acceptance that, you know, the kinds of wisdom that you can unlock from submitting yourself to a pool such as that is that it's worth the trial and tribulation. And that you will then gladly give of some of your captured moments into that pool for others to then go and seek. So the long and windy roads that you take on your life actually all add into your photo album, that once you reach these pools at these different levels, you are able to go that bit deeper. The shallow end, deeper end, more keys to open more doors. The first key to open the first door. But to start seeking dominion over it as Odin did, to do it with intent, to do it with the knowledge that there are certain things that we seem to have to do here as ritual to submit ourselves, to be submissive, to sacrifice something. We'll find that right now we are all of us in this chat, I can guarantee, are going through levels of sacrifice where we are having to deal with the fact of watching loved ones be under a spell and walk to their demise, making decisions that are, you know, unchangeable in this lifetime. We have to witness that, and there's a level of sacrifice in order to you know, have wisdom and continue in power and intent for the greatness of ourselves and therefore the collective. There is a level of sacrifice that we're all feeling, that we're having to walk away from loved ones, for instance. But that sacrifice is made because of the knowledge and wisdom that we've attained, and the acts of those people that we adore don't correlate anymore to that part of the rainbow that we are on, that part of the wisdom that we now have. And this is part of the path. This is the story that is depicted in the story of tarot, the walk through the tarot from the Fool. Walking through all of the different experiences and sacrificing, yes, but gaining, yes. Because this is a dualistic system. This is an opposing force system. And so if you want to look at the different pools within the tarot, if you've got the Temperance card, So you see here the Temperance card. This is the alchemist. It's alchemizing the energies. And it's an air card, so it's doing that by projecting the wisdom, the powerful words, the beautiful words into the water. So it is infusing the unconscious pool that we can all get from, that we can all be nourished from. It is infusing the knowledge into this pool. It is grounding it into this reality by having 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot in the water. Passing this water over the heart chakra, speaking to this water, infusing it with knowledge, with balance, with wholeness, of whatever the experience is that got you to need to be the energy of the Temperance card, to transmute energies. So then you look at the moon and you see the crab emerging from this water, from this same pool of existence that holds all of these memories and all of this knowledge. You see the crab emerging, the light shining on it, and the moon frequency light infusing that water with the divinity, with the knowledge, with the light in the dark. And it is awakening this crab. This crab is now crawling out, and it will sacrifice its shell. There's been much sacrifice for this crab whilst in this water. It's submerged itself in the emotions. Think of Cancerians who feel those emotions deeply, but all being infused as extra wisdom going into this pool. This is where it's depicted that there is sacrifice. You have to go between these two opposing towers, these two opposing forces. You have to be, you know, a level of obedience like the dog, but a level of fierceness like the wolf. You have to be able to have the hard shell to be able to approach this water, but soft enough on the inside that you are impressionable, that you have a certain plasticity to you, a certain flexibility to you. You go to the star card and there's that same pool. And so this is where, with the star card, you're approaching the star card after the tower. So the star card is naked, it's bare, everything has been stripped away. Often people get to the star card when they've lost so much, when they're drained. The tower has come in and whacked everything down that was built up of ego, that needed to leave and you just weren't letting go of. This is where you come naked to this pool. You come in submission to this pool for your wounds to be healed, for you to have hope for the future, knowing that so much has been lived before and so much has been gotten through before by yourself and by others. And you can see here again, infusing the knowledge of, with the foot in the water and pouring this jug of the wounds, of the experience that brought you to the star card energy, whilst grounding it in this reality. So again, by doing this, you're bringing in a whole new aspect of a perception of another realm, the perception of you as you were getting wounded or hurt, the perceptions that you had and the lessons that you were learning, all being infused in this water. This happening over and over again, all of the time, and being grounded in this reality. So this is where all the realms bounce up together and reflect in on each other. So know right now that when people say we're in a spiritual battle, we are in a spiritual battle because we're seeing it being played out down here. And so we've got the High Priestess card, after that. Now the High Priestess card, this is where you don't see the pool, because the High Priestess is the energy of the hidden, the occult, the divine feminine that has been hidden away in a very nefarious way, but also in a way for protection of the great amount of knowledge that you really only should approach this pool if you are seeking of knowledge, if you are not doing it of ego, but you are on this quest, that you can see knowledge and wisdom as beings within themselves that take on lives and live out in tulpas of people, of beings, of animals, of all of existence. This is why Odin held wisdom and knowledge in such high, such a high priority. This was all there was for him, really, at the depths of it. And so they found interest in the journey. And we're all walking that same journey, and we all have these levels that we can attain to, but we correlate them from within. When I say from within to the without, I mean it. That the energy points that you can fire up during whatever experience, whether it's hurtful, whether it's blissful, from the lowest extreme to the highest extreme. If you are the master, if you are like the All-Father and can explore and invigorate that energy point, you are then encoding yourself to be able to gain entry as a master, as a god, as a goddess, as a fractal coming together with other fractals to be able to be on this energy transference rainbow to unlock other portals, other realms, but then to bring it, ground it down into here. This is where we truly do find the warrior's journey. This is where we truly find who we are and why the so-called powers that be have tried so damn hard and continue so damn hard to make us forget what our true birthright in this realm is. That we have access. It is up to us, but we have access to these keys. We have access to this unconscious pool that we can then enter into to gain this wisdom, to then ground into whatever reality we choose to. Can you imagine if everybody or the majority of people got what I was saying today? Can you imagine if they started looking at lenses in a different way? When I do energy work with people or spiritual coaching, I'll often look right at their pupil. I'll delve into their pupil. It is a black hole. It is a portal that I can then bring things up from for us to work on. And so that, can you imagine the power if everybody sort of got that? That they got the fact that their brain in the physical reflection of what we are able to do in the spiritual is able to flip images around and decipher them. No time at all. And give electrical impulses that then the body can interpret. If we learn to do that from our energy points to a greater energy point of this rainbow that is again depicted in our physical reality, if we are able to do that, then can you recognize the power that we would have to co-create this realm, to co-create this reality? It's my perception that a lot of our existence here is actually the reflection, is actually us playing out stories as fractals of self from a different place, that this may not be the predominant place. This may not be the predominant reality. This may be a reflection of a lot of spiritual disagreement when things aren't going right in our life, and this is sort of reflected out, this image is flipped, and vice versa for the powerful. So for us to attain this knowledge and really understand it and delve even deeper into it would really shake up the grounds of how this hierarchical power structure has been created here. This is where the power is. It's within the abyss, the black hole of your pupil. Look into the mirror and do some practicing work of focusing in on your face, focusing that image in till you're at a pupil. Picture yourself then delving in through the mirror into that pupil. It'll rock your world. You'll enter into realms that you haven't entered into before, or that you've done by accident before, but this time you've done it with intent. Go explore there to find out who you really are and what the powers are that you really hold. So that's about all I've got to say. What have you got to say? What do you think about that? Susie says, I don't know what that means. Hey, Scotty boy. Now, yeah, Scotty Boy said, we could be a brain in a jar wired to a computer monitor. It's plausible. What Scotty Boy's just described is what a lot of the testing that goes on people right under our noses. In China, in Canada, here, America, until they wanted to look a bit more whiter than white, you know, the American and UK government making things illegal in our countries, but then at the same time, just harnessing Canada and China in particular to do the dirty work. But yes, they basically are. They're using people's organs. I've remote viewed that. I said that a while ago, to project out, to power up things. We are energy points. And the understanding of the power of that and the applicability of that can be either used for greatness or it can be used for very, very bad things. But yeah, that's absolutely plausible. And it's what they're doing when they smear and distort perceptions by the spell work, by the propaganda, make people, it's the king's clothes, make people believe that they're seeing a beautiful gown over the king when he's naked, there's nothing there. When you can control that perception, you can imprison people without even putting bars around them. Look at everything that's been happening the last few years, the last 18 months, 19 months in particular. They've literally put bars around people without any physical bars being around them, just by changing their perception of something, just by changing their perception of something that we deal with every single year. So yeah, totally plausible. Scotty Boy, brother. Let's see. Hey, Jim. Hey, beloved. Hey, my Susie Q. She gives favor to all. When Susie gives favor, you know you're in favor. Scotty Boy, the eye is just the code reader or exterior scanner. Yeah. But it reflects something so much deeper. Did you, I knew you were involved in this video. I said just before the last video ended, and I's going to be the main thing of that, and yeah, there you are. Did you have a good connection? Did you find those roots down deep? Unbelievable. I knew you were part of this one. I'm so psychic. Hey, Andrea. So let's see. You're late for class, Scotty Boy. Got the whip out. Slap that wrist. Not really. Hey, Thomas. Janine, hello. You driving? Be safe. Beloved says, have you seen her dressed in blue? See the sky in front of you, and her face is like a sail, speck of white, so fair and pale. Have you seen a lady farrier? That's beautiful. Thank you, Seeker of Truth. Thank you so much. It was just off the cuff because I was preparing something for the boys to try and explain how we see and lenses, and I remembered vaguely about things flipping from school and thought that's going to be interesting. And then Odin comes in, we need to talk about that. So they're going to have a good lesson. Even a speck in our eye, yeah. Let's see. Andrea says, can you imagine if you choose an avatar who was more interested in selfies than alchemizing? Yeah. Even that is funny, isn't it? Because we know ourselves, but like others know our physical selves even more, because when we're looking through a mirror, that is a lens in itself and can cause different distortions in itself. So actually, people who love me or know me know more of my traits than I do in that I feel them, but I don't really see them unless I'm in front of a mirror or a screen. So that's a funny one too. And the knowing that these different small aspects of us all linking into the greater big cosmos is a powerful thought. And I know it's overstated and oversaid, but the wisdom in that is huge. In that even our tiny little eyes in the space of all of this cosmos reflects in on other things, in that, you know, ophthalmologists can look in the eye and detect cancer in the body. Can look. There's somebody. There's a qualification just for that. I've forgotten the name of it, but like different specks in the eye. You know, that was just said there before, are telling. They're telling a story, and they lead deeper into different parts of the body. So it's powerful. I'm just on a bit of a trip today with the new energy from solstice. Oh, I would sing for you, beloved, but you probably wouldn't thank me. Probably wouldn't thank me. You've just came out of the shower 5 minutes ago and you're a Cancerian. Wow, Paul. You know the what as well, my friend, then. You miss a lot, but not my shell. Thank you, Andrea. I think I've got that. Got a story about keys. You'll have to tell us one day or now, Paul. Beloved says, ironic, isn't it, that only the world's greatest thinkers realize thought is the problem? Hey, Thalia. Love to you. Staying away from that crazy guy. Joe says, so what replaces the masculine dominant system? Feminists have sabotaged, stumbled the Aquarian age movement. Not just feminists, many movements, Joe, working in tandem have done that. But basically, there's nothing... it would be the balance, wouldn't it? It would be the balance of having enough of the divine masculine masters to enough of the divine goddesses that are just waiting for those masters to explore the different aspects of them and wake that sleeping goddess. It's so that, again, it starts from within. It would be the balance of the divine feminine, divine masculine within, in order to reflect a more divine system in a way that we see as divine, as a more higher frequency divine. But yes, they're very much they work hard to be a step ahead and sabotaging anything, any of the movements. You bet your life they're going to get sabotaged until we get these people out of power, because they'll realize they can infiltrate easily that way and hide in victimhood real good. Yeah, I giggled at that too, Thalia. Hey, antiquarian, Aquarian, Jargo. What else is new, Thalia? We're delving into the portals of self, looking through all of those realms that have previously not been ventured. Did that sound good? It is. It's nerve-wracking sometimes, Scotty boy, and it's not. There's a few times I stop and pause and think, I know exactly what you're doing, but wow, to see it interpreted in people's actions, you know, that are in this prison under the spell so easily. You can put it in front of them. You could drag the person on a noose in front of them and say, admit what you've been doing. admit the corruption, and they would, you know, spill the beans, and the person would still say, so how much is the taxes now? Thank you so much for stealing from me. Happy birthday. You got a royal procession going on. Happy birthday, Joe. So you've got the same birthday as Cajun Queen. Hey, KB. Happy birthday to you. I'll get another candle thing and light that, because I did one for Cajun. I'll light your candle, Joe. Joe says, today is the day I'm going to do something different. I am the one giving out presents of favor. Everybody's wallet is getting fat. Oh, that's beautiful, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? That's sent right back to you tenfold. Done. Hey, Autumn Joy. I love that name. Abby was nearly called Autumn for a little while. Yes, she was. Susie says, live in the moments. Smell those flowers. Get your hands in some dirt. Yes. You know it, sister. Love you too, Scotty boy. Oh, thank you, Thalia. I'm so glad you're listening. Blows me away every time you all come in. Yes, thank you, Joe. Higher Mind Creations. Hello to you. Much love to you on the day of this new season. Thank you for being here. So I think I said everything I wanted to say. I did have a much greater and bigger speech. Hey, Dick, how are you? To say, but I think I got the message out. I think. Do you agree? We might come back to this. Well, we will come back to this, because this thread runs through everything. And to get this wisdom, to start to recognize these entries into these pools of knowledge, these invitations that we're getting, the power behind that, the creative power behind that. No wonder the so-called powers that be are frightened of it. You see, they are on a certain energetic code frequency that, even though they understand us greatly, they've studied us greatly, they can never be out of the perception that we won't do harm, having our full powers restored, because they are of the beings that have never understood that. They've indeed been conditioned from birth to do harm, to control and oppress. And so they haven't unlocked certain doorways. They haven't unlocked certain codes on that rainbow of transference. And so they're frightened, actually, of this power. And that flips the script quite a bit as well, when you can perceive that knowledge. And that they are terrified of this power, because they, in their mind, know the power that we can have with this. And in their mind, they would do harm with it. They would want to control and oppress, instead of living and let living. And so they are frightened, they're terrified of it. Take it back. Let them shake. Let them shudder. It's not theirs. Thieves. Greetings to you too, Dick. Okay, so I think I've got it done. I'm going to go now and try and do some gardening, like Susie says, get dirty. And plant some more sage, because I made quite a few sage bundles for solstice and sold those too, so that was really good. Well, I didn't sell them for solstice. I tend to just say donations for solstice, but everybody was super kind that donated for them. So, but they're all homegrown things. The only pesticide they've ever had sprayed on them is apple cider vinegar that my mum makes from my own apples that I grow. So I know that everybody who buys them is getting a pure form of my hard work and energy, and of the seed. And so they'll be going on Etsy soon. So I'll show you some of those next time, once I've picked some more today and dried them off, and planted some more. Again, that sacrifice, you give to receive from the earth. if you want to keep receiving, that is. You are myself. Oh, beloved. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti to you. You're welcome, seeker of truth. Janine, you're back home safe. Have a drink, have a cup of tea, chill. And have a wonderful day, and a wonderful day to all of you, Scotty boy, Thalia. Yes, Thalia, I'm going to do some more videos of just picking them and showing you, because it's just a small little tree, but it gives me hundreds of apples. And my mum's gotten great at cultivating the mother that then you keep, you know, and use for your next batch and your next batch. So we use the apple cider vinegar to spray the horses, because the flies hate it, but the horses don't mind it. So it's a fly repellent. We use it to clean their hooves, because my mum makes different concentrations of it. So she makes a drinkable concentration that I knocks down. Well, everybody knocks down, but I drink most of it. And then she makes a stronger concentration for the fly spray, and a different concentration of it for pesticide spray for the plants. And the plants don't mind it. So apple cider vinegar, all of the different things you can do. So yeah, that'll be good to show you. So yeah, I'm going to go and cultivate. I love you all. I appreciate you all so much. Feeling the love for you all. Like, oh, can't even explain it today. You're there. So as I'm digging, as I'm planting, all of you are there. So go plant whatever it is, whether it's a thought, whether it's an action, whether it's a seed. Go plant for your individual greatness, and then therefore all of our greatness, because I know everybody in this room, looking at the names going by, we love each other and we've got each other's backs, and that feels good. 1 second before I go, Thalia says, oh, does that help to spray on the gardens to keep stuff away? Yes, it's a great pesticide. The stronger version of it is a great pesticide, and it doesn't hurt the plants. There's a couple of plants that don't particularly like it, but the bugs would kill them more, and it doesn't kill them at all. But most of the plants, you know, it does affect fungus, but I grow fungus. So like I'm growing turkey tail mushroom right now, and lion's mane mushroom right now. So it depends what fungus you mean, because I mean, I'll probably use a lot of the fungus that you mean in different ways. So I don't know if I would want you killing it. So Thalia, let me know. Lavender, yes, a lot of my sages smudges are made with lavender. And chamomile, if you plant chamomile next to a plant that is struggling, that is, you know, that is a bit unhappy or a bit temperamental, and this is so freaky and beautiful to me, in that chamomile calms us, right? Calms the anxiety, calms the nerves, brings everything down. But it just makes you feel chill. So it gives that to us through chamomile tea. You put a chamomile next to a plant that's lonely, that's struggling, you can just see you're doing everything, it's just not right. You put chamomile there, blooms. So the frequency coming off the chamomile does that for other plants. Amazing. Oh, it's the type that affects pumpkins, etc. Not good fungus. Yeah, it will be. I bet you it will be planted from the flies. So yes, I would presume, through a quick equation in my head, if it's the flies that are planted down in there, then the apple cider vinegar would keep them away. It would repel the actual flies. So maybe it would stop you actually having the problem initially caused, rather than thinking along the lines of it killing the fungus, because fungus, you know, is so prevalent. It can take over so quick. I would say yes. Thalia, I would say yes, because it would repel the flies, so the flies wouldn't initially lay the eggs in the first place. So I would think so. You're very welcome. Okay, go grow. Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, my big brother, Elder Barry, for holding space and being the best damn moderators ever. Love you all. Oh, sorry, KB. I was just about to press end. KB, do you use the apple cider vinegar straight or diluted? I can knock it back straight, but I dilute it. I dilute it to sometimes 1 part to half a glass of water, or like 2 parts. My parts are quite liberal, to a full glass of water. For the horses, we use it neat. For the flies, so for the plants as well, neat. Because you want it strong to repel the flies. It's great. I don't know if you have these Thalia as well, but bot flies, the ones that really affect horses, and if they get in you, it eats away at your skin. They don't like that. They don't like apple cider vinegar, so that really repels them from the horses. Because Abby's horses have got real thick, I don't know what you call it, leg hair. The flies are they cause havoc in there. You're welcome. Oh, well, me and you, Truth Seeker, I'll be channeling you and you'll be channeling me where we plant our things. Oh, love you all.